YouTube, what's going on, baby? It's VJ, aka Voltrons, and it is a doomy, gloomy day. And I did not want to be cooped up in my house any more than I had to. So I took the camera outside, found a nice little parking spot, and now I just want to talk. Now, what better thing to talk about in this doomy, gloomy weather than heartbreak and how I personally dealt with it? So for some backstory, it was a long distance relationship. It was over 6 years and we met on Twitter. Now, I do want to preface how I got over this heartbreak with a few things because it might not apply to you. The first thing I want to say is there is no animosity and hatred towards the other person. So that's unique to me. Your situation might be different. We love each other and always will. 6 years with somebody is a long time. That is a big chunk of your life. So my relationship was great in that sense. It was long distance, so it was hard in some places, but we made it work with a lot of communication, honesty, transparency. Things just didn't work out. And I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of what didn't work out, but I will get into how I dealt with it. So for us, the best way to get over this was out of sight, out of mind. We ended up blocking each other on all social medias and things like that and lost contact in that sense because it is the most unhealthy thing to continue to go back and look at their page and who they're following, what they're retweeting and reposting on TikTok. You don't need that to heal. It is actually going to hurt you more than it will do any good. There's nothing in there that is going to benefit you. So you have to stop looking at their pages and looking for things that it's not going to help you. Now, after I stopped trying to keep tabs on all of their social media, the biggest step was allowing myself to grieve. It is a normal thing to go through any and all of the stages of grief at any point. It's not linear. It doesn't mean just because you hit one means you're going to hit two the next day, three the next day, and oh, I'm not grieving anymore. That is not how grief works. Expect it to hurt you when you least expect it. Expect a certain smell to remind you of this person and boom, something hits. Or you're watching a TV show and you see a joke that you would have loved to tell your partner, but you can't. Boom, it's gonna hurt. Something is gonna hit you along the way. But you have to be understanding of that. And that is what I had to do. I had to sit with each and every one of my emotions. Every time I felt regret, anxiety, overwhelmingly sad, anytime it felt debilitating, I let myself feel. I had to. If I keep running away from those feelings, I'm never going to actually face them. And in order to understand your feelings, you have to listen to them. Feelings give us information. It tells us that we're feeling something. And whether it needs to be addressed right now or later, that is completely up to your process and your progress. But it's important to deal with every single one of your emotions. For example, when you're happy and you've had a great day, you're not going to start, today's too good of a day. I should really mess this up. No, you allow yourself to be happy, and you have to take that same sentiment with every one of your feelings. And that's what I had to do, is sit with each and every one of my feelings. Now, while I'm simultaneously sitting with these feelings, I'm also working on other things. Thankfully, I have a wonderful therapist who has helped me each step of the way. So I'm going to tell you a few things that have helped me. Radical acceptance was one of the most important realizations it was for me. Now, radical acceptance is this mentality that you have to work your way through to make it the regular. It is radically accepting. It is the extreme. So if there's a scale, it is the most extreme version of acceptance. This is my reality. I've broken up. We are no longer together. This is not what I wanted. This is not what I expected. But this is what is happening. How do I maneuver this in a healthy way? So I started doing that. I stopped expecting my phone to light up with their name because it wasn't going to happen anymore. I stopped looking for songs that I can add to our playlist because we don't have a playlist anymore. It is the harsh truth, but accepting the harsh truth and finding out how to maneuver around it is how I got through it and continue to get through it. Now, again, while I'm simultaneously doing the other things that I've mentioned, radical accountability was the next step for me. So I had to sit back. I did an exercise. I took a notebook and I started writing out every situation that I feel I was in the wrong, because I admit I am not a perfect person. I will make mistakes. I will continue to make mistakes. But I sat there and I did this little exercise for myself. wrote down every single thing that I feel potentially led to the breakup or potentially led to my partner not feeling the best in a relationship. Let's put it that way. So I sat there and I took accountability. I did this. Whether my intentions were to hurt this person or not, I'm going to disregard that for a second. I have to see how it affected this person. So I have to take accountability. I have regrets. I'm human. I will continue to make mistakes. This is my first time on this planet, and I am going to fuck shit up constantly. But I have to take accountability for it in order to fix it so it doesn't happen again. Toughest part for me, or one of the tough parts I should say, was fixing my routine. My everyday, day-to-day, in some way, shape, revolved around my partner. Even if we weren't physically together, we would call at the same time, we would text at the same time, we would have, certain conversations throughout the day, and that was part of my routine. And being knocked off of any kind of routine kind of sucks. If you've ever worked a job where your schedule is all over the place, not having a routine is kind of crummy because you can't plan around it, right? You don't know how to maneuver certain things throughout your day-to-day, weekly, monthly life because your routine is all over the place. And that's what I had to fix. So I had to learn how to do things for myself alone again. I had to make sure I was going to sleep at a decent time so I can wake up and accomplish whatever my goals are. Your sleep schedule might be different, but again, for me, accomplishing certain things before going to work because I work evenings helped me out. I had to fix my routine. I had to also start and develop a new routine. I would do certain things throughout the day because it was convenient for us. Be available to play games at a certain time at night because that's when we could both settle down and have a little bonding time. But I had to rework some things. So now I've diligently got to a place where I am going to the gym around the same time every day, having food around the same time every day, going to work around the same time every day. So I'm lucky in that sense. And then finding time to do things for myself throughout the day as well. In order for me to not feel burnout while my head has just so much going on, I have to find mental releases, whether it's reading a page of a book, listening to a quick podcast, listening to music, just something to feel reset because again, I'm going through something here, but the world is still moving around me. I might be having a real shitty day, but I still got to make it to work. My mom still needs me to do this for her. My friends want to hang out too, and I still have to give them the time of day. So it's tough because there's so much going on in here, but I had to find that reset throughout my day. Now, speaking of routine, I routinely journal. Now, the thing about journaling is that it doesn't have to be pen to pad. Journaling is just expression of feeling, okay? So you can write that in your notes app. You can draw, you can color, you can paint, you can write music, poetry. Journaling is self-expression. And that's the thing that I learned is that I don't have to sit there and write everything down, how I'm feeling. It's just allowing myself to creatively or not express what is going on up here and try to make sense of it. Now, for me, my choice is making TikToks, which I talk about grief and basically everything I've spoke about in this video so far. Making TikToks, and I do a lot of writing. For me, I write it in on my notes app on my phone. I just find it to be the most convenient to be able to just boom, grab it and, start typing because, if I'm out and I want to get an idea out, or if I'm trying to work through an emotion that I don't like, sadness, anger, grief, I'm going to start writing wherever I am. So just journaling really helped me make sense. Think of it as removing it from inside and putting it out into the world, right? Instead of having all these jumbled feelings and ideas going on, throw it onto a piece of paper and you've also validated it, right? Because it's real. You can't see your feelings. You can't hear them. You can't touch them. But if you're into writing, making music, you can actually feel the feelings in a way that, you may have been avoiding. Now, there's no handbook on how to deal with grief and heartbreak and a breakup. But for me, this last step was very eye-opening. So when you're out of a relationship, you have to learn how to build yourself back up. You really do have to start exploring, who am I? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to do now? Where is this life going to take me? The trajectory of my life changed because we had plans to do this, but now we're over here. So what do we do? Now think of it as construction. If in order to build a new house, you have to start fresh. You have to either knock down what's already there or you got to build a foundation. And that's the mentality I had going into rebuilding myself and exploring. The biggest thing I was afraid of was stepping out of my comfort zone. And it was probably a big reason the relationship ended as well. So for me, stepping out of my comfort zone was almost the final piece to rebuilding that house. Like, people are staring at me and they're judging me if I'm not doing something the right way at the gym. I have to step out of my comfort zone every day in some way, shape, or form. Believe it or not, going to the gym is stepping out of my comfort zone. I don't like being perceived in public, which is crazy because I love being on camera, but that's neither here nor there. I don't like being perceived in public. I feel whatever. I don't like being in big crowds. I don't like being around people for too long. But I started stepping out of my comfort zone because no one is coming to save me. And there's things that I want to do, but I'm stopping myself from moving forward. For example, in my last video, all that B-roll stuff that you saw hiking, I went alone. I took my camera and I went alone. I started doing things alone because I don't like doing it, but I know it's going to benefit me. I don't want to go to the movies alone. I don't want to do things alone. But it's healthy for me. You know why? Because I'm stepping out of this safe little box that I've set myself in. I'm already having to rebuild myself. Why not rebuild a version of me that I'm proud of, that I want to continue to work on, that I want to prosper, instead of allowing myself to suffer? Don't get me wrong, pain hurts and pain still comes up, but I'm not going to sit and allow myself to suffer, especially when I made it this far. Now look, I don't need to watch this video back to know that my emotions and the way my mind works is all over the place. I may be sporadic at some times, I may be relaxed when I'm talking at other times. And you know what? I think that is exactly how the grieving process works. Life is just like that. You are going to experience pain randomly, anger randomly. You're gonna try to bargain. You're going to accept it at some times and not accept it at other times. But my biggest piece of advice to myself and to you guys is be the friend that you would be to yourself, right? If your friend comes to you and they're dealing with a heartbreak and they just went through something traumatic and they're hurting, you aren't going to start calling them names the way you call yourself lazy and stupid and an idiot. You wouldn't do that to your friend. Be friendlier to yourself. You have to love yourself. And that really does start with what you say to yourself in your mind. When no one else can hear you, when no one else is looking, how are you talking to yourself? How are you treating yourself? Well, unfortunately, the ending of my video's audio got all botched up, so I have to refilm it here. But anyways, the gist of what I'm saying is that these steps worked for me and continue to work for me. And if they don't, I work with my therapist and just trying to research effective ways to help me grieve properly. And there's no shame in that. These steps worked out for me and continue to work out. I hope you can find some kind of information in this video that either resonates with you, gives you an idea on how to move on and how to heal from heartbreak. I love you guys. Be well. I will catch you on the next video. Take care. See you soon.